Sorry, I am a couple of minutes late. I had a technical difficulty. This happens sometimes, but I'm here now, and I'm excited to be here. I've got a couple of really cute cards to show you. To demonstrate. I am demonstrating let me go back. Technical difficulties always throw me off a little bit. Let me introduce myself. I'm Teah Woodward. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today I'm located in Richland, Washington in the United States. Oh, let's get that whole title in. And today I am demonstrating two cards using the Timeless Arrangements bundle. So I'm using the stamp set and the coordinating dies. And before I do that, I just want to mention a couple of things that there's kind of a deadline coming up. There's two promotions going on right now. One is the Designer Series paper is on sale for 15% off. The two cards that I'm demonstrating today have Designer Series paper because of that sale. I just wanted to maybe inspire you a little bit. Anyway, that Designer Series paper is 15% off through the end of the month. So the 30th, today is the 28th. And then there's a joining special. And the joining special is you spend $99 and you get $155 worth of products, and you get free shipping on that order. And that makes you a demonstrator, whether you decide to have a business or you decide to be a hobby demonstrator. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. There are no rules around that. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. Okay, what else can I tell you? I feel like there was something else to tell you. I totally got thrown off my game when my phone did an update just now. So the two cards I'm going to demonstrate today, I guess they're technically both fun folds. One has more dimension to it, and the other one has more layers to it. And I guess there is something I want to share with you. So this is actually I've been starting my lives early, and this is what I was going to say when I started early today. So last week I got together with some of my other stamping friends here in the Tri-Cities area. So here in the Tri-Cities we have Kennewick, Richland, and Pasco. And there's a ton of stampers in this area. And I had the pleasure of getting together with 4 other ladies, and we did a little stamping, and then we went out and had a little meal together, and it was just really enjoyable. And that's one of the things that I love that Stampin' Up! Has brought to my life, is that I've met so many delightful people. These are people that I would not have met had I not been a part of Stampin' Up! And so I just wanted to mention that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is, yesterday I had a gentleman come to my front door. He was picking up a package for a customer of mine. And he mentioned that every single card that she has made for like the last 20 years, like multiple decades, he and his family have saved in a box. He said that the cards that she makes has brought her so much joy, and they love them. They love receiving them. And he said that if they ever actually received a card that wasn't homemade, they would be devastated. So I just thought that was really cool, that the cards that we make, people do enjoy them. People really do like them. So be sure that when you make your cards, to send them out, because people really like to get them. So that was just my little 2 cents. And I just realized in my little hubbub of technology issues going on that I didn't put my bar up so I could put my my camera over my desk. So I'm going to step away for just a second. My bar is just 10 steps away. So one moment. I don't leave this out all the time because it's kind of in my way, and thankfully it's close enough that it's not a big deal for me to go and get it. but I do usually have that set up ahead of time, so I apologize for that. I am going to, oh, guess I'm going to make sure I'm actually live everywhere that I'm supposed to be live. Kind of don't want to spend the time to do it since I'm already late. But I am going to find my post and just make sure the link is working. And that most definitely did not take me to the right place. Take me home. And there we go. And if I hit that, let's see. Oh, I'm live there. And then if I go to YouTube and refresh, and it should say live, and it does. So I'm good to go over here. Yay. So that means I can turn the camera down. I can take this keyboard and put it away, get it out of the way, and let's make some cards. 2 cards today. And make sure I don't have that holder on a button. There we go. So here are the 2 cards that we're going to make today. This one is a nice little fun fold. Oh, I meant to grab an envelope. This does fit into an envelope, fits perfectly in the envelope. You see it's the same size as one of our regular cards, and it stands up very nicely. And then this is our other card. So I'm going to start with this one first. We'll do this one second. Bring in my project tray. So timeless arrangements, I've actually done a couple of videos on timeless arrangements already, but I felt, I had a customer ask me to do another one, so I didn't have any reason not to. And I'm glad to do that. Tons of mix and match fonts, or not fonts, I mean sentiments in this stamp set. Then we have some images that you can either silhouette, die cut, or we have some detailed die that you can do some die cutting with. And then we have some labels as well. And next, I am going to give you some dimensions. I have my little cheat sheet over here. This is a photopolymer stamp set. There are 26 stamps in this set. And excuse my cough. I don't know if I'm going to get used to this air conditioning or not. I have pre-cut, scored, and die cut everything. So hopefully this won't take too long. My card base is 8.5 by 4 1/4, and then I'm scored at 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. Going to take my bone folder, and I am going to give those all a very nice crease, nice firm crease. I am going to add adhesive to this end panel. You could use seal, your Stamp and Seal, or I like to use my multi-purpose adhesive. And then this is going to fold into a cube. We're going to line up, there's a fold line, one of those fold lines. We're going to line up the edge of this paper with that fold line and close that right up. Give that a nice little second to dry. Doesn't take very long. And now there we are. There's our card base. This is a pretty quick card. Then the second section is this elevated part, and I have no idea what this elevated part is called. I want to call it the card front. I guess technically that is the card front. And that piece, and these will all be listed on my blog later on today. This piece is 5 by 3, 5 by 3, scored at 1/2 and 1.5. And again, I'm going to come in with my bone folder and give it a nice solid crease, good firm crease. And I am going to use, let's see, I want to rethink real quick here. Yep, I'm good. No, I'm not. I almost made a mistake. Almost made a mistake. I need to put my designer series paper on here first. Ooh, I almost got ahead of myself. Okay, so I have a piece of designer series paper that is going to sit here. And then this is going to get glued on top of it. That's what I almost messed up. So I'm going to do that. This piece of designer series paper is 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. By the way, the designer series paper that I'm using today is from the Bright and Beautiful designer series paper collection, on sale for 15% off. These are 6 by 6 sheets. So this is cut just a scant size smaller than the dimensions of the cardstock, just leaving a little bit of a, looks like a matte layer. It's not a matte layer, it's the card base, but giving it a little bit of a pop. Now the reason I'm not putting this designer series paper on yet is this edge is going to be here, and then the designer series paper is going to hide it. So this is going to sit like this. Nice. So now I can put my adhesive on there. All right. This is a basic fun fold, but I wanted to show that the timeless arrangements could be used with any style of card. That it didn't have to be a fancy, super elegant card. It could be something as basic as a simple fun fold. And then I'm going to add some. Now I only have about a 1/2 inch overlap right here, so I'm just going to be real careful about how much adhesive I've added over here. And there we go. This needs to be able to lay flat. So when this pops up, this will pop up as well. There we go. Gosh, that looks slightly crooked. Let's see, am I quick enough? Nope, I'm not quick enough, so I'm going to have to live with it. If it's crooked, it's barely crooked. Like a hair, but it folds both ways. Okay, it's handmade. I just need to remember that. Okay, then I have a piece of, okay, sorry, getting myself out of order here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this piece of designer series paper here, and that covers that raw edge. That makes it all nice and tidy. So I am, if anybody's on here that doesn't know me, I am a demonstrator, been with Stampin' Up! For, it'll be 4 years in August. And have loved every minute of it. There we go. And that finished that off all nice and pretty. Now I have this piece of designer series paper that is going to sit here. Oh, and you know what? It looks like I cut it off wrong just a little bit. You know, I wondered that. I thought, yeah, I'm off by at least 1/8 of an inch. So let me double check my measurement. I'm going to double check the one that I made yesterday. One I made yesterday is 3 inches wide. And oh yeah, this one's off by 1/8 of an inch. So let me retrim that. Got my handy dandy paper trimmer here. That should fit much better. And I'm going to fix that on my cheat sheet over here to make sure that I type up my instructions correctly. Oh, before I put adhesive on it, I better lay that on there and make sure that it looks like it's going to fit. And it does. It looks like it's going to fit just right now. Yay. Now you might be wondering, where do you put your message on this card? Well, you're going to put it on the back. Let me show you that. I'll adhere this and I'll show you on my sample card. There we go. And I made just a little bit of a glue mess, so use my nail to clean that up. So on the back of this card is where you will write your message. So before I go any farther on this here, I'm going to stamp my image on the message liner. And this is not a perfect square. It looks like it is, but it's not. I want to make sure that I've lined that up just right. The cardstock here that I'm using is Azure Afternoon. It's one of our new colors. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my, you know, on this, I stamped that in Azure Afternoon, but on the front I've got these lovely flowers. I think I might just go ahead and stamp one of those flowers on the back. That's what I think I'm going to do. So I'm going to use, I'm stamping in basic gray. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends. And I am going to use Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to lay down the light Flirty Flamingo first. on the flower. I got a little bit messy there already, so I need to slow down. This is how I like to color in my flowers, is I lay down my light first, and then I go in and I add in my shading. And in this flower, all I did was add a little bit of dark from the bottom. And then I went back with my light and I pulled the dark in. I just blended it up from the bottom. And when it dries, it's got a really nice blend mark in it. And then I'm going to use the dark lemon lime twist for the leaves. And I am going to just go ahead and adhere that to the back. And I like to use my Stampin' Blends before I've put anything on the card, because they do bleed through the cardstock, but they won't bleed through once you've already finished your job. So I've done this, it's not going to bleed through anymore. So it's safe to put it on. There. So there's options. This one I used one of the other images and just stamped in blue. This one I stamped and added in my flowers. Okay, now to decorate the front. We have a sentiment and then 3 flowers, and I will pull out the dies and show you what I've done. So I've used one of the labels. I've stamped the flower 3 times and cut it out with the silhouette die. And then I pulled one of these little frames of the leaves right here, and I've just cut one. And then I cut one extra of the little leaf stem. And these are lemon lime twist. I'm going to stamp, let's see, I am missing there it is. I'm going to, I'm looking for my sentiment. So I like the sentiment, "You make me smile." And I am going to stamp that in the Azure Afternoon. And because it's photopolymer, I can see through the stamp, so I should be able to line this up pretty well. It's okay. I did okay. Made a little bit of a mess. I'll grab my chamois and wipe off my Pearson mat. There we go. That cleans up easy. Let's see, what do we have? Then I am going to adhere my sentiment to a little matte layer that I cut out. And the matte layer, I evidently did not write down. I believe it was 1 1/16. Yep, 1 1/16 by 2.5. Yep. There we go. So I wanted that just to punch it up just a little bit. Not a ton, just a little. I was actually attending an out-of-town boat race when I was introduced to Stampin' Up. And the boat race was in Tri-Cities, which is now where I live. At the time, I lived in Vancouver. So that's going to go there. This die cut is going to sit behind. But before I worry about assembling all of that, I'm going to color in these flowers real quick. And I'm just going to do all of them at the same time. Oh, it looks like they didn't punch out. Let's see. I didn't catch that before. See, there's just a little knockout right here. Hi, Polly. Thank you for joining. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color, light flirty flamingo to these flowers. How's the weather in North Carolina? Is the hot and humid hit yet? We've been hot here. Today, even though we have air conditioning, I've been running some fans in the house as well because I just felt like the air wasn't moving. I have asthma, and sometimes I get a little funny about just needing my air to move. Feeling like I'm getting some fresh air. It's 85 and beautiful, although the air quality because of the fires. I hadn't thought of that. No, stay safe. We went through that a couple years ago. It was not fun. Not fun at all. And it would turn on us really quickly as well. I'm going to use lemon lime twist on these flowers. I'm just going to use the bullet tip to come in and hit just a little bit of color on those leaves. All right. So now we're going to assemble our focal point. 85 sounds really nice. It's been quite a bit warmer than that here. We've been in the 90s, and I'm not griping. I like warm weather, but it's just been kind of sticky. Last night I just couldn't get cool enough to sleep well, even with air conditioning. Maybe I'm not turning it down low enough. I don't know. It's new to us. It's new to John and I. All All right, one flower there. Going to add another one here. Another little set of leaves. So you're just basically going to make an arrangement of some sort that is pleasing to you. And then attach it to the back of your sentiment. There we go. Happy with that. Then, a little bit of adhesive on my fingers. Then I am going to put a little bit more adhesive across the front here. Make sure everything sticks well. On the next card, we're going to do more buildup, but on this one, it's less. So this is going to sit like this. Looks like this one I made taller by accident, but that's all right. Every card is a little bit different, and that's kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning, right? Is, like I said, that customer of mine, her brother was telling me how much that he loves the cards that he gets from his sister. We need to send our cards. People love them. When I first started this, my husband didn't quite get it. And he just didn't get it. I'll leave it at that. And I made a couple of comments a couple of times that were maybe a little unkind, because he thought I was making something free instead of buying him something. Now he doesn't feel that way at all. Now he's if I were to buy a card, he would wonder what he did wrong, but in the beginning, he wasn't so sure. His Father's Day card, he really loved his Father's Day card this year. I had printed out a photo of my husband and put that on the front of the card. I really should bring that in and show you guys one of these days. I used the He's All That. And I didn't do anything fancy, but it touched him, which is what we want to do with our cards, right? Okay, so I've just made a bow, and I'm going to use my mini glue dot and attach that to this one corner of the sentiment. Did I just turn that around? So add my and trim my bow. Now put on my sequins. So for this card, I'm using the pastel adhesive backed sequins, because I thought that the blue was pretty on here. looks like I used the small sequins for the first card, so I'll just continue with that. Add these in around the bouquet. And then maybe, yeah, there we go. And my friends, we just finished card number 1. So we've got our focal point, our sentiment, and our message on the back. What do you think? Do you like that? Oh, thank you, Polly. Yeah, it's this is one of those stamp sets that can go all out or be simple. It's all a matter of what we decide to do with it. So with the next one, let me get a few of these items out of the way. So this is the next card we're going to make. Oh, thank you. So this card, we're going to use fresh freesia. And I've pulled in another set of dies. I'm using the 3rd largest die from the scalloped contour dies. I'm using this 3rd largest die for this focal point on the front of the card. Everything else comes from the Timeless Arrangements. So we'll set this to one side. Our card base is, where did my notes go? We are at 5.5 by 7.25. We're scored at 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that, or give that a nice solid crease. Then the front matte layer, so this is the front of the card. The matte layer is white, and it's 1/8 of an inch smaller in both directions. So it is 5 3/8 by 2 7/8. Then there's a designer series paper that's going to sit on top of that, and that is again 1/8 of an inch smaller, and that is 5 1/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to this and then this to this. I was just realizing my husband and I haven't talked about what we're doing for the 4th of July. And I don't know that either one of us even know where to go in our new town. Like, I think there's something out over the river, but I haven't verified that. And I think it's even a free event if you go out to the Columbia Park, but I haven't verified that either. We don't have any pets or small children that we need to consider. Yeah, 4th of July just kind of snuck up on us. It's just about here. All right. So there is our undecorated card front. Our inner card, we have a message liner that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then we're going to decorate the edge of it, which you see here, with a piece of designer series paper right here. So that is going to go on there. Before I do that, I want to stamp an image on here. Take a sip of water. Been talking for a little bit. I am going to use Fresh Freesia and Bubble Bath to stamp my image. And I am going to pick, see, what did I use in here? I think I'll just use the same thing because there's the dots on the front here, and this is a botanical element that has little dots on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just use that. So I'm going to do 1 of Fresh Freesia and 2 of Bubble Bath. Actually, I wonder if I just messed that up because I did that so close to the edge. Let's see. I might have to do 2 of Fresh Freesia. No, I can do it like that. I can overlap them nicely. There we go. That's good. Can you even see that on the, I'll bring it up close so that you can see how that Bubble Bath is considerably lighter. Close up my inks. And then before I put this designer series paper on here, I am going to stamp my sentiment as well. And my sentiment just says thank you, or it's an inner sentiment that says thank you. The outside says your kindness means everything to me. And for my ink, I am using Basic Gray. And I'm going to bring in my, which I should have done with my little image there, but I forgot. Good enough. Good enough. Sticking my sentiment, or my thing away. Close this back up. Now I can adhere my designer series paper across the bottom. And this sits very cleanly down in the bottom here. So it leaves just a little perimeter. And then I have my little botanical coming up off. I feel a little bit of adhesive right there. I'm gonna, it was light, but these are such light colors that if I don't get rid of it, it's going to look like a little piece of mud or something. It's gone. All right. So now this may be adhered to the inside. Did I give you, I think I gave you the dimensions of the message liner was 4 1/8 by 3 1/8, and then that little piece of DSP that was on the inside was 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then we just center that on the, oops, get that moved over a little bit. There we go. just a very scant. Make sure I don't feel any adhesive. So that's good. All right, so now there is our basic card. Now we can work on our card front. So, oh, this got bent. Not okay. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front. And what I did here is I just centered it from top to bottom, side to side. And it just barely has a little bit of an overlap here. And that, I'm okay with that. That's how I designed it. And remember, this bottom section is going to overlap down here, so we don't want adhesive all the way down there. And that's looking approximately centered, top to bottom, side to side. I think that looks good. Next, we bring out all of our little bits and pieces. And there's a lot more to the buildup of this one than there was on the last one. So this one I've already stamped and die cut the sentiment. Just getting all of the little die cuts out of my project basket. Some of them are quite small, as you can see. Get them all flipped over the right way. So I've got some that need to be colored in, just like I did on my last card. Now these are delicate. They have thin little stems on them, so you want to handle them with care. My greenery here, I have used soft seafoam cardstock. And I see a couple more knockouts that didn't knock out. So here I'm using 2 sets of the leaf branches that are stamped and die cut, silhouette die cut. 2 of these little botanical branches and 3 of these flowers. Then I've got 2 of these, I'm going to call them leaf frames for lack of a better term, and then 1 coordinating. And then I've got, I don't know what these are called. I'm going to call them bauble branches. I don't know what else they're called. So I'm before I assemble anything, I'm going to color these items real quick. I am using Bubble Bath and soft seafoam. So these here, I'm just going to use just the dark soft seafoam, and I'm going to use the bullet tip. I'm not going to try to shade them. I'm going to shade these leaves, but I'm not going to try to shade these little baubles. I'm just going to go in and add the color quick. I love Stampin' Blends, like a lot. I realized out of the new catalog, I don't have a lot of new stamps that require a lot of coloring. So I need to take care of that. All right, so those 2 are done. And these 2 leaves, I'm going to start with my light and then shade in with my dark. I like to lay down the light and then float the dark on there and then blend it with the light again. So I just go in and add just a touch of the dark to the bottom of the leaf. Doesn't even have to be precise. These have alcohol in them, and that allows the ink to float a little bit. I have one fan running. I've got the air conditioning running, and I've got one fan running just so it feels like I've got good breathing air. And I really wanted to turn this other fan on, but I thought for sure it would blow all my little bits and pieces of paper everywhere. So I didn't. So if you're a demonstrator, I'd love to hear how long you've been a demonstrator. Leave a comment, let me know. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, I've been a demonstrator for just shy of 4 years. August 27th will be 4 years. I'm going to use bubble bath on these, and I'm going to color them very much the same way that I did the Flirty Flamingo flowers on the last card. I'm just going to fill in the base color, go back and add my dark, and then blend it with my light. Sweet, simple little flowers. This card is actually, these two cards are actually the first cards that I've used this flower. I usually just stick with the leaves because I like them, but I'm really enjoying these flowers this time. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and use the dark soft sea foam for the leaves on these flowers. And now, my friends, we are ready to assemble our focal point for this card. So this gets a little bit clustery because it's a lot of little pieces. I have really big hands, and it just kind of is what it is. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to use a lot of mini glue dots because I can reposition them if I need to. So I'm going to start with one flower over here right in the corner, maybe a little bit higher, about like such. And then, so I'm going to put 2 flowers on the upper side of the sentiment and 1 flower on the lower side of the sentiment. And this is just a matter of you taking time to arrange it to your personal preference. There is no right or wrong here. So pretty. Okay. Feeling a little sticky here. "7 months as a demo." Nice. Oh, hi, Sue. One of your favorite bundles. Wonderful. I'm so glad. I am glad that's what I'm showing then. Yeah, I'm so glad that okay, I'm gonna have to grab my mouse and get rid of this message off the front of my computer. Here we go. I am so glad that I joined Stampin' Up. It really has enriched my life considerably. So glad I did it. And I had never stamped before that one. It was a little party that I had attended with a friend. Knew nothing about it. I had paper crafted. I had a Cricut. Y'all know what a Cricut is. I still use mine all the time. I just use it for different things now. I don't use it for my card making. All right, so now I'm going to work on making this lower. Ah, I bent it. So I'm just using mini glue dots. The one that I made last night, I used adhesive. And then I found that I had a hard time getting everything repositioned the way I wanted it. Who are you signed up with, Polly? Whose team are you on? I'm under Erica Serwin. So this is over here. So I'm just gonna do a little placement here. Oh, this is turning out nice. Oh, that's turning out beautiful. Okay, I'm getting very close to done. Oh, okay. Under Kelly Atkinson. Okay. I've got another friend signed up with her as well. Lovely. She seems like a real spitfire, a real kick in the pants. I've heard nothing but wonderful things about her. Really, just everybody that I have dealt with Stampin' Up! Has been awesome. So uplifting, so many good messages. Mission statements, just everything. I appreciate it in my life. I'm going to stick that right about there. And now I think I'm ready to assemble these two together. I am going to use adhesive because that's my preference. Oops. Not pretty. And then some adhesive over here. And if you wanted to, you could trim these off, but they're going to hide behind the sentiment. And I'm putting dimensionals on the back that's going to hold everything in place anyway. Ooh, I can hear the wind outside. We have an American flag on the front of the house, and it's right outside my craft room. And I can hear it whipping right now. Okay, got a little bit of adhesive. All right, so now this is ready for dimensionals. See, look at that. It's kind of a mess on the back, but it's beautiful on the front. And you can use as much or as little as you want with this beautiful bundle. I want to use it with some other shapes besides just the rectangles. I realize I'm overdoing the dimensionals here, but I've got a lot of layers on here. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and pop one under here and under here. Yeah, Stampin' Up, they have brought some real light to my life. Even like the conventions and stuff, not only do the Amen, sister. Yeah, as long as I can afford them, I can use them. You know, even like the inspirational messages and stuff that Stampin' Up! Has used at their conventions and things like that, I've been able to use their messages even in other parts of my life. It's pretty amazing. Oh my gosh, how pretty is that? Gorgeous. Gorgeous alert. Let's see, do I have that centered about? Thereabouts? Thereabouts. Thereabouts. Ta-da! Now I'm going to use, I forgot to tell you where I got the ribbon for this card. It's from the same pack that I got the ribbon for this card, and it is called, the name of it just went out of my head, and normally I have the package right on my tabletop, and I don't, but I've got the name of it right here. It's called 3/8 inch Sheer Ribbon Combo Pack, and it comes with 3 different colors: Azure Afternoon, Bubble Bath, and Lemon Lolly. So I used Lemon Lolly here, and I'm using the Bubble Bath here. Thank you, I do too. It just makes it kind of, like elegant or extravagant, or I don't know, just kind of it's flowy something. Now I'm going to put a bow on here, and then I'm going to add a few sequins from the same sequin pack that I used on the last card. All right, got my bow. And it's gonna sit right about there. I'm gonna go ahead and trim my ends. Grab my mini glue dots. And let's stick that right about there. Might need to trim that just a little bit more. It's longer than the edge of the card, which is not, there's no sin in that. It's just that Sometimes if they're too long, then when you go to put them in the envelope, they fold up, and if you miss it, then it ends up getting shipped, and then your ribbon gets crinkled. So try to give it the best possible manner of success for shipping or mailing. And then here I'm going to use the same sequins that I used on the last card, except that I'm using a different color, but I'm using the pastel adhesive backed sequins. And here I'm using the pink, because the pink really picks up both the bubble bath and the, I'm going to use the bigger ones, I think. Picks up the bubble bath and the fresh freesia. I'm going to put one down here. And a couple up here. I really love them next to my bouquets. And my friends, we just finished card number 2. And let me pull them both out. There's some little bit of adhesive. Nope, it was rolled. But I think this one actually turned out a little bit better than this one. I think I like the bow on this one better, but I like everything else on this one better. It's popped up. All right. Well, what do you think? You like? I hope you do. Thank you for joining me today. I very much appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. The dimensions and the product information will all be released on my blog later this afternoon. I appreciate you joining me. Big hugs, everybody. Stay safe and be well. Bye-bye.